Morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's great to be here today to celebrate the reintroduction of our Ships for America Act. I want to recognize the co-leads of this bill who will speak in a moment. My partner in the Senate, Senator Todd Young from Indiana, and then in the House, Representative Trent Kelly from Mississippi, Representative John Mendy from California. I want to thank each of you for all your hard work on this legislation. We've also got a lot of folks here who worked on this bill with us who are going to be very critical to making it a success. You'll hear from a few of them, but I want to thank everybody for coming and being such an important part of this effort. Now, we've got the people here who build ships and produce the materials that go into them, including the Shipbuilders Council of America, the Steelworkers Union, the American Iron and Steel Institute, and the Alliance for American Manufacturing. We've also got the men and women who will at times spend months away from their friends and family serving aboard U.S. flagged vessels as merchant mariners, literally ensuring that ocean-going trade can happen. And we've got representatives from the institutions that are going to help deliver the workforce that we need, including the Great Lakes Maritime Academy and Texas A&M, and my alma mater, the United States Merchant Marine Academy. It's been about 40 years since I spent a semester at sea as a midshipman. I was on ships going to South America, to Europe, through the Indian Ocean to the Middle East, and also to Japan. And a lot has changed since then, not all of it for the better. There are currently 80 U.S. flagged vessels in international commerce. Do you know how many China has? So we have 80. China has 5,500. And they're building a lot more every single year. And the United States commercial maritime industry cannot keep pace with China's shipbuilding and maritime fleet, and it's driving up costs, and it is threatening our national security. It means that so many of the products that get shipped to American ports that are then put on trains and trucks and sent to stores everywhere from Arizona to Indiana are on Chinese ships built with subsidies from the Chinese government and at a price set by Chinese companies. So that's why today we're reintroducing the Ships for America Act, which is, without a doubt, the most ambitious effort in a generation to revitalize the U.S. shipbuilding and commercial maritime industries and counter China's dominance over the oceans. And this is going to mean more ships built in America, more ships staffed by American crews, and more products coming to our country on those American ships. This is going to be good for our economy and good for our national security. It's going to create good-paying American jobs. It's going to make our supply chains more resilient. It's going to lower costs and strengthen our ability to resupply our military in times of war. Now, tackling this challenge has been a top priority for me since becoming a senator, because I've seen how the decline of our maritime industry has affected our country. I've seen it up close. And I know how China's dominance over the oceans impacts my constituents in Arizona, but also everybody across our nation. Now, I'm glad that my colleagues in Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, in the House and in the Senate and in the administration, see this challenge too and are now ready to actually do something about it. So let's get this done. So let me start by passing this along to my colleague in the Senate, Senator Young, who is a U.S. Naval Academy graduate, who is a former United States Marine, and a great leader on this effort. Senator Young.
Well, thank you, Senator Kelly. Thank you for your long-standing leadership on this essential issue. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to make American ships again. Yo. And let's hear it for our merchant mariners. Let's hear it for our merchant mariners. We value you, we support you, and we're going to get this done. Because America's rise from 13 colonies to the most powerful nation on earth was in part because of sea power. And by power, we mean not only the world's mightiest navy, though we have that, but also its greatest commercial fleet. We had that at one time. The first defends our people and values on the oceans. The second carries our goods and goodwill across them. Both are crucial for national security and economic security. Teddy Roosevelt understood this. He knew something about naval history and shipbuilding. He said that the spread of our trade in peace and the defense of our flag in war depended on America possessing the world's largest commercial fleet. But right now, with our rusted maritime sector and abandoned shipyards, we're very far from having that. The opposite is true across the Pacific Ocean. Today, China has 5,500 commercial vessels in international commerce. The United States, 80. They build 1,000 ocean-going ships every year. We build roughly 5. We should call this convergence, the rise of China's commercial fleet and the fall of our own, what it is. It's a pending national crisis. If our economy depends on goods carried aboard Chinese flag vessels, our supply chain is always at the mercy of the Chinese Communist Party. If we have only a few seaworthy commercial vessels, we'll struggle to transport our troops to the front lines in the case of a conflict in the South China Sea. If our commercial shipyard industrial base continues to collapse, if we do nothing, we'll be unable to build and repair warships. It's, of course, time to change course. It's time to rebuild our merchant marine. Help is on its way. The Ships for America Act is our blueprint to begin this endeavor. Our bill will fund and cut the red tape stalling U.S. maritime policy. It will boost the U.S. merchant marine, revive our shipyard industrial base, protect our people and economy from foreign threats, and provide good-paying jobs to Americans. Americans whose creativity will help build the commercial fleet of the future. We're not the only ones hoping to end our shipbuilding decline. Last month, President Trump signed an executive order encouraging private investment to help raise new shipyards. This is a critical national and economic security issue, one that transcends party. It is time to make American ships again. Next up will be Congressman Mendy, one who has shown great leadership on this issue.
Thank you, Senators. Really appreciate working with you. We're going to do this. We're going to make it in America again. It's a policy that all of us have been working on for a good long time. We're going to bring jobs back to America. We're going to bring jobs back to our shipyards, shipyards that were once derelict. In California, the Mare Island shipyard was shut down, the oldest naval base on the West Coast. It was shut down. It's going to be revitalized. It's already on its way. We're going to make jobs all across this nation, in the steel industry, in the shipbuilding industry. This is the most comprehensive piece of legislation dealing with the American maritime industry ever introduced. It covers all of the subject matters that are necessary, all of the supply chain, all of the parts, the steel, the engines that are going to be built in the upper Midwest, the steel that's going to be produced, some of it in California and a lot of it in the Midwest. It's jobs coming back to America. And on the ships, we will see these young men and women, and maybe not so young, that are going to be back on the ships in the future. It can be done. It will be done. The Rosie the Riveters during World War II said, let's get it done. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to make sure that there is cargo on those ships. If cargo is king, it's part of this legislation. If it's the workers, if it's the men and women that need to be trained to be on the ships, that's going to happen because the maritime academies across this nation will be funded. They will be, their services will be increased, and the multi-mission ships, the 5th is now being built in Philadelphia. It's going to wind up at the Maritime Academy in Vallejo. And I know the other maritime academies have also received those ships. It's all of the pieces of the puzzle. It's the most comprehensive maritime improvement legislation ever introduced. And it didn't come about because we wished it. It came about because of the hard work of our colleagues in the Senate and in the House. I want to shout out to Mike Walsh, who decided he ought to go over to the administration and the National Security Agency. Good work there. But Mike's work early days in putting this together, the legislation, was profoundly important. And his support in the White House continues along that way. All of them. You see here just a small portion of the people that have been working on this legislation. Even yesterday, some final pieces of legislation were written so that we can all come together to make this happen. We will get it done. We will follow the Rosie the Riveters that said, let's get it done. That's exactly what we're going to do. And it's going to take all of the support that you see here to make it happen. Every piece of it is in this legislation. And it didn't just happen because we wished it. It happened because of a lot of hard work over more than a decade. Individual pieces of the puzzle have been in play all along the way. And now it's in one piece of legislation. Ships for America. That is our rallying call. Those are the signs. We're going to make it happen. Thank you so very much for the support of my colleagues.
Now we'll hear from my distant cousin, Congressman Trent Kelly.
Thank you, Senator. You know, what you're seeing here today is a revitalization and a reemergence of us as the greatest maritime nation in the world. And it's got to be public, it's got to be private, it's got to be in the House and the Senate and the administration. If we want to get back to our roots and the thing that made us the greatest nation in the history of the world, we have to get back to being the greatest maritime nation in the world. And I can speak about the past. We've been there, so we know how to do it, and not that much atrophy is set in. We know we can do it in the future. You see our future behind us. This is our future. It's also those young workers who are looking for careers and something that they can be proud of. It is in the House, bipartisan in nature. Both the Republican, Democrat, House, Senate, administration, but it's got to be public-private. It's got to be a whole of government. We have got to make sure we have synergy, we have energy. We have got to finish the product. It is unacceptable for us not to be the greatest maritime nation in the world now and always. And to do that, we have to build our maritime industry across this nation. And whether you're talking about the Port of Gulfport in Mississippi, or whether you're talking about Indiana, or anywhere in Middle America that makes pieces, parts, or ships, whether we're talking about the West Coast of America or the East Coast of America, whether we're talking about the Atlantic or the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, anywhere in the world, our maritime dominance, but what it takes is it's going to take all of you. It's going to take each and every one of you putting every fiber of your being into making sure that we maintain the momentum that we have now to once again be the maritime dominant leader across the world, because our ideas and our spirits of America, we're democracy. And we believe in democracies delivering. So that means it's a team effort, and I need all of you. Thank you, Senator Kelly, Senator Young, and Representative Mendy. God bless America.
Now, one of the first parts of this is we need to make it more economical to build more ships in America. Nobody can speak better on that than Matt Paxton, who is the president of the Shipbuilders Council of America. Matt.
Well, thank you, Senator Kelly. This is a true moment in revitalizing our shipyard industrial base. Thank you, Senator Young. Thank you, Congressman Trent Kelly. And thank you, Congressman Mendy. We've had our fights. We've had our fights on a lot of legislation in the past, but this is truly a moment in time. The Ships for America Act is a generational piece of legislation. I am so proud to be here in this moment. Our patriots that work in our shipyards are absolutely essential. They're national security assets. And this legislation is going to double down on the investments made in our shipyards, in our facilities, in our people. And I couldn't be more proud to be standing at this moment in this time, truly bipartisan, truly bicameral, and just down the street at the administration with an Office of Shipbuilding. This is a moment that we must seize. And the men behind me and all the Merchant Marines, I am so proud of this moment. God bless America.
Thank you, Matt. The Ships for America Act has the support of many unions who understand, maybe more than anybody else, how this is going to improve the lives of hardworking Americans. So I'd like to introduce a graduate of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy from the class of 2019. Kings Point is my alma mater, so it gives me great honor to introduce Chief Mate Elizabeth Levy, member of the Organization of Masters, Mates, and Pilots.
Thank you, Senator. I'm Elizabeth Levy, a Chief Mate, proud union member of Masters, Mates, and Pilots, and a proud graduate of the United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. I started my career as a professional mariner 10 years ago. My career has taken me globally as well as in our backyards. I've sailed on commercial container ships, bulk carriers, on the Great Lakes, and on military prepositioned ships sailing on U.S. flag vessels domestically and internationally. I serve as a lieutenant in the United States Navy as a strategic sea lift officer. I'm proud to stand here today as a professional mariner, a proud union member of Masters, Mates, and Pilots. I'm grateful to have a job which has allowed me to see the world and connect each and every one of us with global goods and serve my country. My job has allowed me to make a good living, to be able to pursue the American dream, to buy a house and invest in my community and my future. I'm thankful to work in an industry that rewards a strong work ethic and being a good shipmate. Yet, despite these things and the opportunities that working as a professional mariner have afforded me, there are not enough of us, and there is a mariner shortage. Why is this? As with all things, there are many layers that contribute to this, whether it is the hurdles to gain, renew, and maintain credentials, or the crumbling state of the United States Merchant Marine Academy, which is in desperate need of infrastructure revitalization, or the dwindling amount of U.S. flag vessels for American mariners to sail on. I currently sail as a civilian mariner on Army prepositioning ships. These vessels carry critical equipment to support our nation's defense needs abroad. This job places professional mariners like myself in harm's way. The same is true for all of us who sail on ships in the U.S. fleet, whether it is serving on a defense mission or those on commercial container ships having missiles launched at them in the Red Sea. This is why Americans Merchant Marine is called the fourth arm of defense and often the forgotten one. We are ready, willing, and able to answer our country's call and to respond as American mariners have always responded to support American troops deployed anywhere in the world. Professional mariners like myself are sailing 24/7 globally on every ocean and waterway, performing work that is critical to our nation's security, defense, and economic needs. The American Merchant Marine has been essential since the birth of our nation and through every conflict. The U.S. Navy was actually created to protect U.S. Merchant Marine ships. This is why I'm happy to be here today to endorse the Ships for America Act, both as a professional mariner and on behalf of my union Masters, Mates, and Pilots. This law will revitalize the U.S. maritime industry. It will make our country stronger by increasing the size of U.S. flag fleet, and most importantly, it will incentivize shippers to use U.S. flag vessels to carry a greater share of America's foreign trade, an incentive that provides more jobs and opportunities to U.S. mariners like myself, jobs which can support a family. Without cargo, ships don't sail and mariners don't work. More American ships means more jobs for U.S. mariners. mariners who will step up to serve in times of peace and in times of war and other national emergencies. The Ships for America Act will rebuild the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, one of our nation's 5 federal service academies. USMMA graduates 80% of the U.S. Navy strategic sea lift officers, those officers who are service obligated to command vessels during times of conflict. The Ships for America Act is an exciting piece of legislation. It will attract more young people to our critical industry. It will help retain those who have given their whole lives to this profession. It will help create and support jobs for American mariners, ensuring that our country has the maritime manpower needed to protect and enhance our nation's economic and military security. It will allow our nation to revitalize our maritime industry, invest in our professional mariners who have a skill set that is so desperately needed in today's global political space, where a maritime conflict is just one event away at any moment. The time to invest in our nation's maritime strategy and dominance is now. And in the interest of our country's national security, defense, and economic needs, I urge Congress to pass it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I think as of today, the U.S. Merchant Marine is not forgotten anymore. And finally, it's a personal privilege of mine to have somebody I know really, really well. He's a former astronaut. One of the very few people I have flown in space with more than once. And he is also the superintendent of the Texas A&M Maritime Academy, my very good friend, Mike Bosm.
Thank you, Senator. 20 years ago, right now exactly, Senator Kelly and I were training together for the second return to flight mission after the fatal Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in 2003. We had some time to talk, and I was pretty sure back then he would find his way to the U.S. Congress, and he was pretty sure I would find my way to Texas A&M University, my alma mater. But neither one of us could have imagined that we would be here today doing something like this way back then. My name is Mike Bosm. After 36 years in the Air Force and NASA, I've accepted a new mission as the Vice President of Texas A&M University, the Chief Operating Officer of the Galveston campus, and Superintendent of the Texas A&M Maritime Academy. We owe huge thanks to Senator Kelly, Senator Young, Congressman Kelly, and Congressman Mendy for their strong leadership and relentlessly pushing forward to reintroduce this legislation that is vital to our national security and national economy. They've already said a lot about that, but I want to just point out also, for everybody in the United States, 90% of everything we use, wear, drive, or consume travels on ships before it gets to us. For the state of Texas alone, the blue economy is 28% of the GDP of Texas. The exports of the oil and gas and byproducts, the manufactured products, the agricultural products, cotton, citrus, beef, corn, etc. It's vital to our just local economy in Texas. We've talked about the Military Sea Lift Command and its support for the deployed forces overseas, at sea and overseas. I don't think we've mentioned that 17 of those vital ships are tied up right now, laid up, not being used because they do not have the mariners they need to crew them. Military Sea Lift Command made 12 recruiting trips to my campus in Galveston last year alone. It's a vital need. The Texas A&M Maritime Academy is proud to be the only state maritime academy on the Gulf Coast. We're also the only maritime academy that is part of a Tier 1 university, which is a land, sea, and space grant institution with a research portfolio of over $1.2 billion. The Texas A&M Extension Service is also critical for workforce development, and we have training centers near shipyards in Texas. So we cover the full spectrum. Now, Texas A&M Maritime is just one of 6 amazing state maritime academies, each with their unique qualities which are critical to training and educating the next generation of mariners. Together, we produce about 70 to 75% of the mariners for our nation, with the balance coming from the Federal Merchant Marine Academy. Now let's talk some details of those state maritime academies as a whole. Enrollment in all of our programs together peaked in 2015 with about 3,565 students enrolled. By 22, in the aftermath of COVID, enrollment in our programs had declined by 35%. There's been some some bounce back, but not nearly enough. Why? There are many factors. We've spent a lot of time working this. But one of the biggest ones is the cost of the programs to students. We get very little support from the federal government for the operation of these training ships, and most of that cost is passed on to our students. That cost equals more than an entire extra year in college for them, so it's hard to get them in our doors. In 2015, the 6 training ships used by the maritime academies had 1,920 berths. The training ships were old, really tired, and near the end of their life. Congress funded the new National Security Multi-Mission Vessels, or NSMVs, to build state-of-the-art training and coastal disaster response vessels. With these new NSMVs replacing the smaller ships, we've added over 1,100 new training berths in our existing academies. With these new ships and existing university capabilities, we believe we can grow to handle a maximum of about 4,400 cadets in our existing unlimited license programs and graduate over 1,000 more new officers a year. Additional investments in our campuses will enable most of us to grow even more, much more. Build these new fleets, and we will get you the crews you need. But we have to get the costs down to get students in our doors. Thank you again, Senator Kelly, for your leadership. We launched on our first mission on the 4th of July, 2006. It appears, sir, we're on another mission together to serve our country. We don't know how long it's going to take, but our destination is clear. And we now have a mission plan to get us there. And we know when we start. Today, April 30th, 2025, is our launch day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And now we have a few minutes to take some questions from the press.